Gonna talk about Xan and Shoe. Oh, well, I thought I was gonna talk about the stuff in the title, but then I turned the stream on 20 minutes ago, and I saw people going, Shoe, 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 and everyone, just sort of revving up like, can't wait, can't wait for Vaush to hit the 78th consecutive denunciation. The 77th one wasn't enough. Okay, yeah, it's can I just get out of this? Shoe bad, shoe bad. Okay. I don't know what's happening. I saw a tweet from Shoe earlier, but I've spent the day like cleaning. I was really behind on chores, so I didn't really what did Shoe do? Let's find out. Yeah, we can go directly to Shoe's Twitter because I'm not blocked. Just flexing that. I'm one of 4 Twitter users who's not blocked. The brand Balenciaga. Okay, right off the bat, I don't know what this is, but it sounds Italian? Just did a interesting. The Balenciaga photo shoot is right behind me, isn't it? Well, that just happened. Sorry. Photo shoot for their new products recently, which included a verily, purposely, poorly hidden court document about virtual child porn. Normal stuff. Okay. Right. So we have photos here. Oh, I do like the context thing below, which says, although Shoe often makes jokes, this is real. So, thank you, context, I hope one day I get something like this, like, well, Vaush, while often retarded, Vaush actually does have a point here. Merrick has an additional tweet. Okay, I'll look, I'll add it. Okay. So anyway, my initial vibe. Okay, wait, hold on. What does Balenciaga make? Like, what kind of stuff do they make? Just, is it like everything? They make shoes, handbags, purses and shoes, clothes. Okay, well, that's kind of broad. Here, Balenciaga official online boutique, United States. Very fancy looking. Looks very fancy. Adidas. Women, men. Okay, they sell like everything. What does a men's t-shirt from Balenciaga look like? Can we get this image off? Thank you. Okay. The first available men's t-shirt from Balenciaga is this. I hate this. Actually, no, I don't. I like it, kind of. How much does it cost? $800. Okay, never mind. This is bourgeoisie filth. I disavow all of this. Nope. Okay. Yeah. Duh, Lamau. I don't know anything about this brand. Okay. So they make all kinds of clothes. So they did a photo shoot, and here we have a very young girl who is... Yeah, I don't think there's any other interpretation for this. She's got a little teddy bear with BDSM fetish gear on. That's a little weird, I think. That's what that is. I don't really know how you can get around that, I guess. Okay. And we have another one. Where you've another very young girl. And you've got a bunch of stuff here. This got a lock with a chain around its neck. It's got kind of like some goth stuff going on. I guess that's a little odd, maybe a bit less odd than before, but still seems kind of odd. I don't know. All right. And then we have okay, so this is the thing that people were talking about. So this is one of their purses, and they have a bunch of documents strewn on the table. And this document right here contains text which indicates that it's a Supreme Court ruling on a case involving child pornography. That's actually confirmed by the context thing here. It contains an excerpt from the U.S. Supreme Court opinion in U.S. versus Williams, which upheld part of a federal child pornography law. So that's interesting. Now, these aren't from the same shoot, from what I've heard. Like, this is not the same shoot as that. Like, they aren't next to each other. So it is a separate thing. True, but what does this have to do with gays? I don't think this has anything to do with gays. I think Kim Kardashian does stuff with this company. I think Kanye recently did, but he's dropped a lot of sponsors on account of the whole Blitler Bladeoff Blittler thing? Oh, they left Twitter, I guess. They deleted all their Instagram posts. That's kind of odd. 14.3 million followers. That's kind of an odd thing to do. Okay, there's Merrick. We'll check Merrick's thing shortly. I just want to see the original thing first. They delete their Insta posts often. Is that true? So yeah, it is from that case. Way more going on here. What? Okay, this is conspiracy shit. They usually delete after every collection reveal. Okay. What is this? Oh yeah, apparently this whole thing was blowing up on TikTok beforehand. Their homepage is a kid with a bear in sex clothes with a lock around its neck, and then there's another photo right under of a man with a key on his finger. That's a reach unless these two are part of the same shoot. Okay, we're getting some conspiracy-minded individuals here. Let me hold on. Okay, Balenciaga or whatever it's called. Balenciaga. Let me take a look at their front page again. You got a guy in neo clothes. You've got some shoes. Oh, on the front page they have that goth chain necklace teddy bear with a kid on it again. But I guess it's fine. I mean, it's edgy, I guess. I don't know. It seems like maybe a bit weird. To me, the big thing here, like by far, is this. This is very strange. Get some papers to show on the desk of stuff strewn about. Oh, here's a Supreme Court brief from U.S. v. Williams. Section 2252AA3B of Title 18 U.S. Code criminalizes in certain specified circumstances the pandering or solicitation of child pornography. Yeah, We've long held that obscene... that's an odd thing to put there. Okay, like, here's the issue. Like, here's the, Merrick says it's a different ruling. The Twitter context thing... No. Merrick says it's the same ruling right here, U.S. v. Williams. That opinion is from U.S. v. Williams. So, U.S. v. Williams wasn't a ruling that was anti-child pornography, which is great. But it's still on the subject, right? It could always be an actual person's desk. I don't know why anyone would have a Supreme Court statement from a 2008, and then also a brand as large as Balenciaga, just like, oh, yeah, just whatever's on top. You know, this could be like any text. Don't worry about it. It's not screwing up. That was done deliberately. They Google legal jargon. No. Let's dispel with one thing right off the bat. Right off the bat, okay? This was done deliberately. There is no way in hell that a gigantic, like, ultra-powerful fashion company would be like, you know, yeah, like, just, oh, any documents will do. Of course they're going to look at that stuff. So it's not unintentional. Here's the problem, okay? This is the issue, okay? Because I know that Shu, like, argued with a bunch of people over this. The problem is that, like, I fully believe that powerful media moguls, executives, and elites are fucking weird pedophile Epstein types. I fully believe this. I don't, you know, like, Epstein happened. That wasn't like a fever dream we had. I fully believe, like, yeah, absolutely, I believe that. I don't think that's, like, conspiratorial. Epstein happened. Go back through any length of time in history, and you'll find, like, oh, yeah, are, like, ultra-powerful people using their wealth and power to, like, do really creepy shit? Yeah, obviously, you know? That's not, like, a QAnon-specific or, like, whatever else thing, you know? I think that's broadly true. I certainly don't think it has anything to do with a person's race or ethnicity or sexuality or what. I think it's just... Then what intention would they have for including the document in the photos? Here's my theory. Are you guys ready for it? Do you guys remember Dan Schneider? You remember Dan Schneider? Dan Schneider, he was like a producer for Nickelodeon. Here he is doing his favorite thing in the world, being very close to a teenage girl. You know? You can get a lot of photos of him like this, which is great, you know? There we go. Very close. And he was like a big producer for Nickelodeon. I mean, Dan Schneider literally is like a Hollywood elite guy. That's not like a I mean, that's literally like, yeah, he was like a huge figure at Nickelodeon. And he's also a really creepy, like, pedo dude, right? Like, a bunch of shit came out about how he would treat the girls that got cast, or, like, he would do weird stuff, like, about their feet, or he would, like, have whole episodes that were, like, feet-centric. It's a whole... There are probably, like, YouTube videos that are 18 hours long that go into, like, the wild shit. And you can watch those and think, like, you can probably remember, as I have, like, oh, so that's why that episode of iCarly was really weird. Yeah, he really had a thing for, what's her name, Miranda Cosgrove? Seriously, look at all this. Like, every photo here is like, how close do you want your head to be to this teen girl, man, who you hired? Uh, he had viewers submit content, but it had to be written on / paste on their feed. Oh, yeah, that was right. That was one of the things. Yeah, I was like, yeah, you have any, like, fan input? Write it on your child feet, and then send those pictures in, and I'll read it, you know? Truly incredible, the audaciousness of this man, you know. But whatever. I mean, Me Too, etc., etc. Horrible guy. Now, like, here's the problem, okay? Dan Schneider got found out a while ago, but can you guys imagine if he got found out right now, how much the far right would be crowing over this? Oh, woke Nickelodeon tried to protect their satanic pedophile Hollywood elite guy, Schneider, comma, Dan. You know, like, that would turn into, like, a big culture war thing if it happened right now. It's like, see, mainstream media is full of pedophiles trying to corrupt your children. You guys realize that would happen, right? But the problem is, in that specific instance, outing Dan Schneider as a pedophilic creep would be objectively morally correct. It would be empirically and morally the right thing to do. But then the right would run off with it anyway, you know? It feels like it's kind of an impossible situation where it's like, there are, like, creepy fucking things going on, and, like, the right's gonna run with some narratives, but you also can't, like, not... You can't also, like, do deniability forever, because, like, why? Because that makes you look really bad, and also it's bad, like, generally, to not pay attention to that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Man, my guess is that this is a Dan Schneider situation. I don't think that Balenciaga is, like, a pedophile cabal at the highest level that's working to orchestrate blah, 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 blah. My guess, like, and I'm just taking a stab at it here. My guess is, like, there's a creepy motherfucker who works on the staff, and he gets off to putting this in there, you know? Like, Dan Schneider got off not only to being creepy with the girls backstage, but making it part of, like, episodes. The way that Tucker Carlson's Nazi scriptwriter got off on, like, adding little bits of, like, Nazi dog whistling into his stuff for years and years. People with very deviant in any sort of opinions, you know, like how the Rick and Morty guy really fucking likes his incest episodes. They, though, in that case, he's pretty up in front about it. So maybe it's that. Maybe there's, like, it was like, maybe the set production guy was like, oh yeah, here, I have some legal documents for the background, and he's like, tee-hee, and he puts this here, you know? Maybe. I mean, I think that makes more sense than any other explanation. I do not buy the idea that it was done by accident at all. And I don't buy the idea that this is some, like, deep state Illuminati. This is how these organizations communicate. Because no, they fucking don't. Rich pedophiles just text each other. What the fuck do you mean? I think this is, like, a dude or a small number of dudes who are being real weird. That's my guess. Dude, it's an anti-exploitation arty thing. The case is specifically about someone using childishness to sell porn. I don't... It's shock advertising. It's not just about getting off on it. It could just be shock advertising. I mean, stuff like that has happened. That's possible. I don't deny it's a possibility. Do I think that's more likely than, like, maybe there's a real fucking creepo here that's kind of, you know, just using his power to be a fucking creepo? I mean, I don't know. That's my guess, though. My guess is it's... I'll say it's one of the two. Is that unfair? That it's one of the two? Like, it could be some creepy, like, Dan Schneider type thing, or it could be shock marketing. I don't believe it's an accident, and I don't believe it's, like, deep state coding or whatever. So that's like the middle ground. It is... if that's shock marketing, though, I think that's a highly inappropriate thing to be shock marketing about. You can shock market about a lot of things. You can put that out a lot of ways. That I don't think that's... I don't... Yeah. No, yeah, it could be. It could be either. It could be either, you know? Yes, at the very least, severely unethical. Like, even hinting at that, no, that's no. I'm not against shock marketing broadly, but this isn't, it's not just shock marketing. It's like, well, what, like what narrative, like broadly and politically, is this really the best time to be disseminating the idea purely for like profit that elite cabal pedophile blah blah? Probably not. And secondly, like it's also like pretty interpersonally fucked, I don't know, man. You should really dial it back with stuff like that if it is shock marketing. Yeah. You might notice that none of this has anything to do with queer people. Now that I realize we've gone this entire bit so far without even mentioning queer people, I have no idea what this literally nothing. There's no tie or relationship whatsoever. Literally none. Completely disconnected. There's no tie at all. And yet, as Somniostatic points out, it was retweeted by libs of TikTok who blocked me because they're a coward. Balenciaga is dressing teddy bears up in bondage gear for kids to hold while displaying documents about child porn. This is not an accurate interpretation exactly of what we're looking at here, but yeah. So why is libs of TikTok, predominantly a stochastic terrorist, Twitter account designed to direct hate mobs against queer people and their supporters, getting in on this? Is it just coinkydink? Well, no. It's the Dan Schneider problem, right? Like, again, imagine if you had the info to drop the Dan Schneider story. Imagine if you talked to Miranda Cosgrove or the girl who played Sam in iCarly, who later went on to make a book about how she was glad her mother was dead and it's super based and she's based. What's her name? McCurdy? Jeanette McCurdy. Yeah, thank you. That book is supposed to be really good. I actually kind of want to read it because I've heard it's really... Anyway, imagine you've like talked to them behind the scenes and like you have the Dan Schneider drop and it's 2022 and the midterms just happened and every day you have to go online and see people like fearmonger about queer people with conspiracies about like Hollywood elites grooming children. And you have to drop that story. Like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, that's really difficult. It feels like it's not something now obviously the Dan Schneider thing is a bit more direct because that's like an actual real like confirmed thing of like a predatory like Hollywood producer, but you kind of get what I'm getting at here, right? The problem is that the far right will take literally any information like this and use it through implication to empower their attack on on queer people. Literally anything. Like so yeah. Check out Discord stream discussion. There's a meltdown going on in there. That's fine. That's okay. That's why they're using Discord. Okay. No. I'll take a look at one. Let's see. Vaush would let give anyone else this much charitability after a club was shot up after pedo conspiracies. I'm not done with my bit yet. Does anyone disagree with what I've said so far, though? The main thing is that, like, so far I feel like everything I've said is objective. I genuinely think, like, everything I'm saying here is basically, like, if you disagree with me, you're avoiding reality. In the sense that, like, there's a difficulty here in, like, this information, no matter, like, who it's actually against, is always going to be kind of like a conspiracy emboldener. Yeah. And that's really difficult. I feel like I've struggled a lot with this as well because I used to argue more with the left. You guys might remember that early on in my channel, I used to argue a lot with like the genderqueer, like trans, like Twitter woke scoldy types, and I don't do that anymore. And it's not that they've gotten any less stupid. They're just as stupid. It's that like I don't feel it's appropriate to really like, especially in this climate, like dedicate my channel's time to that kind of thing because there are like downstream consequences to that, but at the same time, like what then? Like should I never talk about how I feel Epstein was murdered? Because that's a conspiracy, technically is a conspiracy that's predominantly believed by conservatives. Conservatives tend to be the ones who talk about Epstein. Conservatives tend to be the ones who tweet, so apparently Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested and sentenced for facilitating child prostitution to nobody because the info is kept hidden or whatever. That's not true. It is true. It is true. When you see mainstream discussion of Epstein, it is coming from the right. Yeah. Because Epstein fulfills a lot of far-right narratives about the ultra-powerful, wealthy elites, so on and so forth, so on and so on and so on. But it's not going to stop me from talking about Epstein. But at the same time, man, how do you deal with this? How do you win here? There's nothing concrete to talk about here, Vaush. Yeah, blast a tune, but here's the thing, okay? If you ever say publicly, if you even allow yourself to think, I don't think we should be suspicious of big corporations doing weird sussy pedo shit because it might embolden the right, you've already lost. To yourself and to the world, you are now the person who is so afraid of giving the right ammunition that you're not even willing to entertain or discuss any possibility of creepy, like, corporate, wealthy, pedo sussy shit, you know? And at that point, like, you're going to be dismissed as somebody who's so ideologically biased that you're not even capable of, like, agreeing on what most people would consider kind of like a bipartisan consideration. The idea of powerful people abusing children. Like, you know, whether it's directed against, like, the Catholic Church or Hollywood or whatever, like, that's something a lot of people have at least some strong opinion on. So if you're like, oh yeah, I don't think we should ever talk about that because, like, it might embolden the right, you've kind of given yourself over to that narrative to begin with. Fuck, I don't know how you're supposed to handle this. Did Shu in any way suggest LGBT people were involved? If she did, that's monstrous. I don't see that happening though, which is one of the reasons I'm kind of confused. There were a lot of people who seemed to be under the impression that Shu made that comparison, but if she did, I don't see it here. If it's somewhere else. Shuan had causes trans or gay panic number 6net blah blah on the internet because she's willing to throw fellow queer people under the bus. Fellow queer. Well, shoot. God damn it. We're operating on, like, different levels of implied, like, we're on different levels of imitation here is the issue. Oh god, this is so complicated. Fuck. Okay, can I just get everyone off my back for a second? Shoe bad, shoe bad, shoe bad. Can we just do that? Is that fine? Okay, we did it. I denounced. Everyone can be chill now. This is a really difficult, like, thing to dig into here. Fuck. I wonder, like, okay, so obviously I think that Shu should have followed this up with, like, a Lamau conservatives treating this like it's the woke left when this, I don't know, you could like, it's a wealthy company, right? These people probably donate Republican. I don't know, there's a, you know, because, like, you can respond to conservatives, like, clearly using this as ammo. You know, like, redirect that in some way. And I think she should, you know? It doesn't escape my attention that, like, even when Shu's saying stuff that isn't wrong or that is agreeable broadly, there are always a lot of conservatives agreeing with her by, like, kind of selectively misinterpreting what she says in the way they love to do. And I never feel like she pushes back on that enough. Like, she never spends enough time going, like, hey, retards, like, hey, eyes up. This isn't your W, you know, which I would try to, I guess, if I was in her position. But there are a lot of people who are treating Shu like she made the attack on queer people here, which I think is just wrong. I remember to read Merrick's tweets. Oh yeah. Wait, didn't we see them? Can you link them? She literally attacked Vaush. Wait, what did I do? Oh yeah. Well, this is the previous drama, or it's one of the previous dramas, but that's not now. Vaush, you should stop defending Shu. It's never going to be enough for you people. I feel like everything I've said up to this point has been pretty objective. I don't understand. If you want dogmatic dislike of Shu, you can go basically anywhere on the left. I actually think this is a pretty difficult, like, needle to thread. It's actually really not easy. I always think she could do more. And I do think she was, like, really irresponsible with this last drama. I don't know. Look at third screenshot. This one? Merrick's? I thought we looked at Merrick's things. I don't think this changes anything here, that it's from US v. Williams. She doesn't care. She wants to further cater to her reactionary audience. I don't understand what is happening. It's from a different photo shoot? I said that. You keep treating Shu like a sibling and excusing really reactionary shit. Yeah, I mean, people have said, yeah, and people call me like a chaser, reactionary transfer, what, like whatever. Okay, I'm very used to people. Listen, if Shu is being accosted by people as hysterical as you guys are, then no fucking wonder this happens every time. Christ, you're really doing a bad job representing the case against her when you guys are coming up here and screeching at me. Um, when I feel like I'm going through this as reasonably as I can. Like, yeah, no wonder she blocks you fucks. She does, however, block everyone, which is not good. Man, she's blocked a lot of people I like. I think Contra blocked her. I don't know. Here's Zan commenting about it. For people who want clarification, this is the umpteenth time she started a gay groomer discourse around the right. Okay, so here's the issue. The problem here is that Shu didn't start gay groomer discourse. She talked about something that conservatives used as gay groomer discourse. This is different from that drag queen thing, because in the drag queen thing, that was specifically her doing the, she did start it by conspiracism. Oh no. You guys do realize there's a difference. Oh no, you're doing the thing right now. Guys, do you really not think there's a difference between Shu saying, "Hey, gay groomer," and Shu saying, "Hey, this is some weird pedo sussy shit from a corpo," and you guys are like, "Ah, well, because the right is calling it gay groomer, that means that Shu did that." That, while I understand like a consequentialist approach to most situations is appropriate, and I feel like I'm applying it here, I don't think it's appropriate to like equate those two because they're not even consequentially identical. Did she do anything to imply the gay groomer phenomena? If she has, then I haven't been linked it. Holy fuck, this is a hard social situation all around. Well, the ultimate problem is that chat is going to end. This happens every time. Chat's going to end up being so unreasonable that like my entire time here is going to be like defending Shu against their incorrect claims. What you guys don't realize is that your hysterical whiny bitch behavior makes her stronger. This is what other people do with me. They dislike me, so they come up with 57 bad criticisms, and then when they get torn apart on them, it only makes me look better because they've just been proven wrong on every point they've made. All you guys are doing is making her look better. If you guys could calm the fuck down and just be like, wow, I can't believe that Shu never added a follow-up tweet like disavowing the far-right like groomer associations even after realizing this tweet blew up, then if that was your central criticism, if you had said that, I fully agree. But there are people in chat who are like levying criticism so illegitimate that, you know, I don't like it when you're wrong, so I'm going to say, oh, that's wrong, which is implicitly a defensive Shu, and then that just continues and continues and continues. So, like, calm down. Okay, see you all next stream. You people have the emotional maturity of children. Vaush, respectfully, what the fuck differentiates her from all the other lefties you torn apart in the past? Stop! Vulture video. Just fucking reflect for a moment. Notice how your message there didn't have an actual specific criticism. None of yours do. You're just mad that you're not getting the outcome that you want because you're an emotional fucking group of children, okay? Stop. Gee, I didn't realize this photo shoot was of VGGers. Jesus Christ. Like, why aren't you madder? Give me something to be mad about. Should I just alter my emotional output with no, like, empirical change in what I see or what I listen to? Why aren't you mad? Well, give me more to be mad about here. This is nowhere near what Shu did last time with the gay groomer thing. That was really bad. And I criticized her after that, which I have every time something like this has happened. But every time I get talked to by you guys as though all I do is defend her, which isn't true. It's empirically untrue. It's like you're trying to gaslight me, which is really frustrating. Merrick reached out to Shu and was blown off. She's not listening to positive advice. Oh yeah, Shu is incredibly thin-skinned and will block people. The problem is Shu will only block you if you ask her to change her behavior, and that only comes from the left because the right is fundamentally opposed to like the process of self-improvement. So the right will stay quiet, and then when she does something useful to them, they'll all cheer. And the left will cheer when she does something good for them, but will also criticize her when she doesn't, and that leads to more of a more of a back and forth there. That's not fair. She's grown really reactionary conspiracy brain lately. No, we're talking about this right now. Thank you for your vague gesturing, but we're talking about this. If the right uses this to start discourse, then it feels like she's enabling them. Yeah, I already acknowledged that. I think that's bad. I think that she could be a lot more careful about that. But I think I've already dedicated like 30 minutes to talking about how I feel like it's genuinely really complicated. Like how do you talk about stuff like this when there's such a conspiratorial far right environment? I don't know if there's like a perfect answer. And that's the left's problem. How? Oh, you guys are so triggered, man. You aren't any better than the people on Twitter. You're just in agreement with me. In terms of behavior, you're not any different, though. You just tend to be in line with the right, answers most of the time because you have the benefit of listening to me, and therefore are much smarter than the average person. Stop white knighting Shoe. Okay, I think, all right. Mods, if you have your heads on your shoulders about this, can you please ban the people who are being exceptionally obnoxious? Like this, again, like this just makes me want to defend, because you're just giving bad criticisms. Why? Come on. The people with orange and yellow names are giving better criticisms. Somniostatic gave a real criticism. Why is it all the white names, when they do deign to speak in VGG, are like, why aren't you angrier? What? you fucking whore. Sorry. It's my characterization of a white name. You do have a sub-only mode? No. They have to be able to see. I mean, you can keep offering bad criticisms so I can spend the next 20 minutes defending her against inaccurate criticisms if you want. Or we could focus on what we disagree with, like that'd be cool. We could actually offer good criticisms instead of stupid ones. That'd be nice. Wouldn't that be like a significant improvement, like structurally? I'll look shortly, Vermin. That's true, White. Okay, let's see if we can do this rundown. Maybe a group activity. Okay, chat. Hypers, if I have often said Shoe's behavior on Twitter is cringe. We need to appeal to plurality here. Okay. Yeah, I thought so too. And what's another emote we should use? Pepe, if I've often said that Shoe has reactionary and conspiratorial tendencies that embolden the far right. I've said that? That's the thing I've said, huh? I've said that before. Kind of funny how people are pointing these things out to me as though it's an own, like I don't acknowledge it. But okay. Now we can cycle back to the other one, all right? Hypers, if I've had to do this every single fucking time anything happens with Shoe for the past, 2 years. Come on. Yeah, every fucking time. Every fucking time you people are insufferable. Oh my god. It's always the same pattern. It's always the same fucking pattern. There is a small group of hysterical people in my community who will, in their effort to impugn Shoe, give me every reason to defend her because I'm going to call out people in chat who are being fucking stupid, especially since you drag me in with it. Because you guys are like, Vaush, you're such a white knight. You never criticize Shoe. And it's like, that's all I fucking do. And I'm only trying to acknowledge that this is, legitimately a really difficult, social conspiratorial space to navigate. It legitimately is. Anyone who disagrees with me on that is just wrong. At the end of the day, my clear criticisms are this, okay? First of all, Shoe absolutely should have followed that tweet up with another one saying, don't know why the far right's getting in on this, and anything. I mean, you can if she said, hey, this isn't gay people or something, that's, too on the nose. I'm sure she could find a way of, indicating that this is not, an endorsement of those conspiracies. I fully believe she should have done that. Because I personally, if Libs of TikTok ever, quote tweeted me, affirmatively or whatever, I'd be throwing up in my mouth, so that's one. For two, call Zan. Do we have to make this a thing? I wanted to play Subnautica. I only learned about this when I booted stream up. What? Zan, what do you want to talk about? I haven't actually seen from you. Just wait for Zan to say in chat. I want to see your pain. I don't want to argue with someone I like about someone. I just want to explain myself for 3 minutes. No argue. You're cordial? No, I know you're cordial. Okay. Fine. Homie Zan's cordial. The problem isn't with Zan being cordial. The problem is that I have few enough friends in the space as it is. I don't like even testing the waters with the few that Okay, Zan, please DM me so you're at the top of my thing, and I'll call you. Just call me. Just call me right away. Hopefully this doesn't end in a block. I'm not Shoe. Oh, you mean from Shoe. Hello?
Hey man, I'll make it quick just because I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I know you want to play some Subnautica.
I do like
Uh,
Subnautica.
yeah, I don't want to do any drama like, oh, you have to denounce this person thing. I just want to explain myself because I feel like this has been kind of jumbled in a lot of tweets and threads and blockings and quote tweets. I just want to explain my side in like a quick 3-minute explanation. Basically, if you followed me and Vaush for a while, you probably know me and him have both been friends with Shu, and we've both endured quite a bit of harassment to criticism, anywhere in that range, for said public association with Shu. And we've even made videos, both of us, basically defending Shu whenever we see particularly insane criticisms coming her way. And you guys have seen this happen, and I stand by all of that because most of those criticisms were pretty insane. And the main reason I defended her and I continue to be friends with her, despite her mistakes, her past, and her continued fuck ups, is because it really did feel like she was sorry when she messed up and she apologized, or it really did feel like she meant well. But there's a certain point where meaning well stops mattering, and a certain point where being sorry stops mattering. At least for me, when it comes to a personal friendship, like in a public association. In this case, like last time, Shu did like her random every single LGBT related holiday we have to do a groomer discourse tweet. I believe a GOP lawmaker ended up citing her as her Twitter account as the inspiration for an anti-gay groomer bill. And she apologized and seemed really upset about that. But then here we are, a day after a mass shooting that seems to so far, we seem to definitively believe be driven by anti-LGBT motivations. She goes out with granted, unrelated to anything LGBT, and she doesn't even mention anything like that, post calling out some weird Epstein clothing company for millionaires bullshit. Probably is some weird pedo shit. I don't know. The problem is, if you go down, you probably have most of them blocked with a blockchain, which makes sense because I saw you scrolling through the tweet replies. But if you go on incognito mode, so you don't have those accounts blocked, and you look at the top replies and the top quote tweets, they're not just like, oh, vague conservative or vague fashy stuff, but there's stuff like, yeah, these gay groomers, when we get the wood chippers out, that's when that's when we'll really have things going. And just personally, this is not the only thing. This didn't just happen overnight, but like this alongside a lot of the, oh, we need to re-platform Alex Jones, misinformation is protected under free speech, we need to save it. It's just, for me personally, I can't do it anymore. I don't judge you at all. I'm not like a terminally online drama monger who's like, you can't be friends with anybody I don't like. But that's just my side of things. I didn't want my side to be misrepresented or misseen, I guess, because it's all buried in Twitter. That's it.
No, I fully think that's reasonable. Shu seems to have like a terminal inability to understand the consequences of her behavior, at least in the moment, or to like fully work them through. I just no, I don't disagree with what you've said here. I don't think that anybody would be wrong to be suspicious of her or like fully out or whatever. The only thing that I thought was weird is that a lot of people seem to be like attacking her on the idea that this was an attempt to deliberately invoke that conspiracism. I don't know what she could have really done here outside of not post about it
But
at all,
that's
or
well,
like do a follow-up post where it's like, ah, yeah, you conservatoids need to stop claiming this as your own or something. Outside of that, what could
yeah.
she really do?
Well, you and I have both been canceled before, both for reasons that are completely insane and some valid reasons, like a valid criticism. But it's always like, here's 5% valid criticism and 95% insanity meant to try to destroy your reputation. And so it can be really hard to like accept that 5% of valid criticism when, all the rest is just meant to destroy you. My cat is screaming. I know. I'll feed her in a second. I got to go in a minute. And yeah, I mean, I think in her case, she knows she has a massive audience and follower base of like actual neo Nazis, QAnon conspiracy theorists, etc. And we've seen how every time, like even GOP politicians follow her, we've seen how every single time she tweets about this kind of stuff, it leads to another discourse, which leads to another populist push for another one of these anti-gay groomer bills. And I mean, every time, like I feel like every time one of these discourses has happened this year, within a month after, we saw another groomer bill get passed. And I can't say there's direct correlation, but in some cases there definitively was, because the GOP lawman cited her Twitter. Now, this is an issue of like, okay, well, what do I do? Do I shear away a significant amount of my audience? What do I do? And that I can't really answer, but I can say it definitely wasn't a good call to fly this close to the sun the day after that shooting. That's my personal. That's the best advice I can give.
So your suggestion would be to have just not posted it at all?
Maybe waited a week is the best. I can't see the future and I'm not omnipotent, so I don't know what like I don't know every route she could have gone to make this. I mean, if you look at the response from the right, I mean, to make that not happen, I don't know, but it probably wasn't in good taste to do it right after that. I mean, she apologized
True,
for
but
what happened last time. She knows what tends to occur.
Notice that this is a different kind of criticism, right? You can argue that like maybe it's a bit tasteless or tactless. I guess the issue is that being myself quite tactless, apparently she got this off TikTok. If I had seen that, I would have posted it as well. I don't really use TikTok or pay attention much to like trends in social media. But like if I saw something like that, I feel like even with what I know, I would have posted that, gone like, oh, this is sussy. I think the difference with me is that I don't have any right-wing audience at all, so I don't have any reason to believe that the stuff I say might be might be like a like at a risk of being interpreted. I don't think libs of TikTok is going to quote tweet me being like, this Vaush guy, is a warrior for fighting against the queer, anything like that. But at that point, we're just talking about Shu being like irresponsible and inconsiderate with the output of what she posts rather than her being reactionary. But I already fully believe that she's completely inconsiderate and irresponsible with the output of what she posts.
Yeah.
That's a criticism.
And that's the problem.
No, I fully agree with that. I've been saying that for years now. And she'll block anyone who gets like justifiably upset about it. But that's not the same as that being a reactionary post in and of itself. But I fully agree with the preceding criticism, or any reason why anyone else would want to associate with her, given her seeming habitual inability to like think out, well, how will this play out? Why would left-leaning people be upset with me after I posted something that got incredibly popular with the far right the day after the Trans Remembrance Day nightclub shooting? Like, I don't think she thinks that, and that's always been a criticism that I've had. But I think it's important categorically to understand that that's different from this was an attempt on her part to do this, or like this is reactionary posting. Because I don't think it's those things.
Yeah, I obviously, we've both been canceled, and you've seen how much of a cancellation can be insane. So you've seen that, but at least the people that have followed me that I've seen mostly, and I can't speak for everybody, have mostly seemed to be criticizing her for this repeated behavior, right? Like the best analogy that I can give is it's like Shoe on Head has a button right now, and that button is the tweet button. And if she presses that button and the right thing is in that Twitter box, she knows, and she should know, that she can spark an entire like throwing a stone into a settled pond, spark off a whole nother like wave of conservative culture war talking points for like 3 days to a week after. And it may, because she does have actual GOP politicians following her, actually have real effects. And she saw that happen. So I guess it's worrying to me that she knows what happens when she presses that button. She pressed it again today. The results happened. And I don't think she's going to stop pressing it, no matter how much I try to, as a friend, be like, hey, I disagree with this. Can we talk it out? Like, yeah. I just don't have, like, I can't justify it to myself, right?
Well, yeah. She's probably never going to stop doing the thing where, like, don't censor my free speech. I can tweet what I want. I don't know how much of a like tolerance she has for the idea of like responsible abstemiousness. But I believed that for a long time. I fully agree with that. Um, it's the I would hope that she would warm up to that eventually. Obviously, I've known her for years, so it's not exactly the most likely outcome. But in the meantime, I don't really know what to do. My audience demands action of me, but I'm not sure what they want. If they want a disavowal, they're doing it entirely for their own like emotional. If I've already levied the
As
criticisms, then
as
that's my responsibility. What if
le-
they want like a stamp or something, or like a gold star sticker,
le- y-
affirming an official ruling on my part as to whether or not she's on the left. I have no idea why they think I have that power.
I can tell the pressure on you right now is like the like Atlas with the universe in his back. So I'm gonna lift it off you for a second here, chat, and everybody else who's listening. I have no personal hatred for Shoe. I do not think that Vaush should cut ties with Shoe or should have to do some sort of public condemnation. Frankly, I think bringing me on here to talk about this is enough. Okay. My main issue was that it seemed like at first earlier on the stream that we weren't really going to get a full encompassing sort of representation of this stance on things. Um, Shoe on Head may well do a lot of good for the left, and she makes entertaining content, and she's funny. I don't think she's a bad person. I wish her well, and I really hope that she ends up politically evolving and maturing over time. And hopefully, maybe one day she'll hit me up on Twitter and be like, "Hey, Zan, water under the bridge. Who cares?" And I won't mind that. I don't think I don't feel I've said anything like a personal attack against Shoe or anything that would negate that. But yeah, if you're one of the people that's like screaming in chat, like Vosh, you have to disown her, you have to disown her. Please go outside and eat some grass, okay? This is the internet. We're entertainers and educators, okay? But entertainers at first, okay, and then political figures, right?
Well, I get
But at the
my.
end of the day, we're entertainers.
I mean, they're going to be
We're
retarded about
not.
this no matter what. My
Yeah.
main issue is that every time like Shu does something I disagree with, I come to chat and they're like hands on hips. You defend this? I've had this conversation with them 20 times. I don't know what to do anymore. Like, you know, Vosh, are you willing to admit Shu's irresponsible with her platform? Am I willing to admit that? Am I am I willing to admit that? And this happens like every time. It's going to happen next time too. So, um, that's a bit frustrating. Outside of that, I genuinely do not disagree with anything that you said. Um,
Oh
it's a
yeah.
remarkable, like at the very least, tactlessness given the political situation that we're in. Though my concern isn't so much for what she posted, because again, I feel like I would have posted the same thing with like the Balenciaga weirdo. Like,
Well,
if
it's
I don't have an issue
yeah,
with the
it's more an
posting of that.
extension of the way that she moderates her community and her
Well,
following.
the main
And
the main issue is that like she'll go on blocking sprees for lefties criticizing her, but like with the far
mm,
right, it's always like a teehee wink sort of thing because the far right um doesn't engage in the same types of like constructive or non-constructive critique that the left does. When
yeah,
Shu gets in beefs with the right, it's because she said something like, "I think that healthcare should be free," and then a bunch of cons will get mad. Oh, well, actually, not a bunch. Some will get mad. Most of them are smart enough to stay away because they know it's not their time yet. And then she will quote tweet one of them who's saying she's dumb, and then she'll be like, "Actually, you're dumb, Bernie 2024 or something." And that's her engagement with the right. Like that's her disagreeing with the right online. But when she disagrees with the left, it's because she started like a half-week culture war discourse that ended with politicians like engaging with it, and then she did a block spree for like hundreds or thousands of queer people who are terrified that she's using her platform to embolden far-right talking points. And those are categorically different things. Which again, I don't want to sound like a cunt about this, but I fully acknowledge because I've said this before. I'm repeating stuff I've said before. I'm mostly talking to chat when I say that, not you. But no, that would always be my central criticism. In the context of that, the Balenciaga thing is irresponsible. Without that, if I'd been the one to post that, I don't think any far right people would pick up on it because, you know, I'm a obviously, I'm not like fertile ground for that kind of conspiracism.
yeah, yeah. I'll give a little final statement here so that you can wrap up and get to Subnautica. Also, I've got my boys in another Discord server watching The Walking Dead without me now. I got to get back to it.
Good job.
Yeah. Basically, I think that a lot of people right now really want to see you just burn the bridge and it to be over. And I fear that that's what would happen because essentially, Schwanenhead does not have many ties to the left as far as figures go, and it's always good for somebody to have friends that are on the left to maybe influence their politics. And for everybody who would be her friend that's left wing to just kind of be like, nope, I'm out, would definitely not be productive to her political evolution, ideally. Which is why I don't advocate for that. I don't think that like people who are friends with her that are left wing or anything like that should feel pressured to end their friendships with her, because what good does that do? That does good, no good. So don't pressure people to do that, please, because that's very cringe, terminally online, and stupid. So thank you.
Also, the only times I've brought up Shu in the past year and a half have been criticizing her because she's done stuff on Twitter that I think is bad. It's not like it's a 24/7 promotional fest for Shu's content over here, right? I feel like normally when people talk about a bridge, they're talking about some kind of like existing sustained like relationship between content creators, but the only relationship I've had with her publicly over the past year and a half has been like me criticizing her when something happens on Twitter. So I don't know what they want from me, I guess. My only obligation is to make criticisms that I think are valid. Outside of that, I don't owe anyone anything. I mean, that's just like, I don't know what else I could even offer, really. But yeah, no, I agree with basically everything that you said. So I appreciate you coming on. I'm glad that we weren't arguing.
Yeah, no problem. Hell yeah. Enjoy your Subnautica, and may all of the gods that exist in every mythology bless us with
Thank you for gifting me
luck.
God of War, by the way.
And oh, thank you. Yeah, you got to stream that. I forgot. Yeah, you got to stream
We'll
that.
see.
Yeah,
That's
chat.
a pretty big game.
It's very good though. Beardman big and he punch hard, and it's a good game. I gifted Vaush God of War 2018 on Steam. Pressure him to play it. But may all the gods of the Nine Realms bless us in our goal of splitting one of those real life Subnautica submarines.
God willing, one of
I'm
these
still
days.
down.
We're gonna
One
get
day.
them to set up a location somewhere in the Seattle Bay, in Puget Sound. We're going to drive that motherfucker all across the bay floor, or bay.
Let's go.
Undersea bay floor. Yeah, ocean floor. Yeah, bay floor. Okay.
Oh,
Have a
there's a
wonderful
lot
night.
of cool shit there. All right, have a good night.
Take care.
See ya.
I like Sam a lot. Glad that we talked to him. Yeah, you acknowledge it and criticize her, but then get mad at chat for not liking it, going after her. No, I have never gotten mad at chat for disliking Shu. That's literally never happened. Subreddit already opposing. I know. It's an inevitable like consequence. I've literally spent the entire time criticizing and agreeing to criticisms, but always the same thing. So this is the sentiment that I think is like the ultimate problem. Okay, I don't really care much about this discourse and be friends with others, but Vaush has been harsher on other content creators for way less. How harsh I am has nothing to do with the validity of the arguments that I put forward. This is such an insanely parasocial way of thinking about it, okay? I'm sorry that my like emotional state when I offer the criticisms you agree with isn't to your liking. But like, holy shit. This is completely true though? Yeah, no shit. I'm friends with Shu. Incredible. No what? Whoa, really? I treat different people differently? What an astounding fucking realization to arrive at. I don't have everyone in exactly the same standard in my head. What I owe you guys is a correct criticism. If there's something wrong, I want to point out that it's wrong. That's it. This isn't even a matter of me offering defenses for people that I like, because I don't think any defenses I've offered Shu were motivated by the fact that I'm friends with her. I think a lot of you guys just offer shit criticisms. This like it's like a non-falsifiable thing, where it's basically just like, well, you're not mean enough, that's not my job. I make arguments. That's where you and Chad differ. Unfortunately, Chad holds everyone to the same level. Okay, let me try to explain this in terms that you guys can understand. I know that a lot of you have no friends whatsoever, so I'm going to try to use another metric. Let's say we have a family member, okay? Now, my grandpa is probably a pretty conservative dude. He's also really old. He's like 90, okay? Now, if somebody who wasn't my grandpa came on and expressed conservative viewpoints, I would probably be quite mean to them if given the opportunity. If my grandpa did, I would probably be a lot nicer. Does that mean that I've failed you? Does that mean that I have lied to chat or done anything to, I guess, betray the faith of my audience? Yes? Okay, well, I know you're joking. You might have noticed this in the past, guys, but I've literally had kind conversations with neo-Nazis. I usually let the tone of my, discourse be set by the behavior of the person that I talk to. I don't feel it's prudent to go beyond that. Obviously, there's not a perfect scale between how much I agree with somebody and how mean I am to them. A good example of this would be with my conversation with Demon Mama. Demon Mama and I agree on 99% of shit, but the convo between her and I got pretty heated. That's because, and I need you guys to understand this because, again, I know you don't go outside, your tone when disagreeing with someone is not perfectly proportional to the extent of the disagreement. The problem that you guys are having is that you're accusing me of making bad arguments with Shu when in reality you just don't like my tone. But with regards to the tone, honestly, go fuck yourselves. I don't, this is so ridiculous. This happens every time. Come on. If you thought I was wrong on a specific criticism, then you're free to point that out to me. You'll note the people who are getting banned aren't saying that. They're being creepy. There's a lot of misogyny that goes around whenever Shoe on Head gets brought up. A lot of white knighting criticisms, which I don't see in this community outside of Shoe specifically. A lot of Shoe only adopts the positions of her current male interest, which again, don't see that with other people. A lot of weird behavior, a lot of honest to God kind of incel shit. And all of a sudden, my different tone when offering criticisms that you would otherwise agree with is suddenly evidence of secret collusion. Every time this happens, I see on the subreddit. Last time this happened, you know what I saw on the subreddit? This was after an engagement where I disagreed with Shu, by the way. So this is after I disagreed with Shu. This is after I said Shu, I criticized her behavior. I go on the subreddit. You know what I see? People sharing conspiracy theories about how she and I are in a secret relationship and have been for years, and the only reason I don't go hard on her is because we're in that relationship, as if I'm already, not the type of person who would go hard on somebody who I like and have my entire life. Vermin, am I the type of person who refrains from arguing with people he loves? Vermin can attest to this, okay? I've seen this conspiracy all over the internet, usually from far-right circles, but apparently it's popular in my community when convenient to you guys. And B, that's so improbable for so many reasons. See, as Vermin is willing to attest, I'm actually meaner to people that I love, and they're correct. But I have to see this from my community every time because a lot of you are really fucking hysterical about Shu, and it's genuinely, actually shitty. It's one of the reasons I don't bring her up in any context because I don't trust you guys to be able to respond to anything that she does proportionally. If she does something good, bad, neutral, something funny, something disinterested, it doesn't matter because you guys are hysterical. So I feel like I'm bringing up a touchy topic with a relative or something. No matter what the news is, good or bad, I just don't want to be around you guys during this. Again, the overwhelming majority of you are fine. I'm talking about a minority of people in chat, and you know how I hate minorities. You guys gotta cut it out. It really makes you look psychotic, and it turns every Shoe thing into an hour-long beef with you guys, which is really annoying. Fuck. Just kindly remember that over the course of this entire thing, 90% of this has been me arguing with the freaks in my chat who have a very specific emotional hang-up about me being friends with Shu, and 10% of it has been me just criticizing her. Every thing that I ended up agreeing to and believing in the end was a disagreement with her behavior. So, does this mean Thanksgiving is off? Fuck, I gotta hit a Thanksgiving meal. Fuck. Yeah, okay. Bottom line, you don't have to denounce your friend, but your friend is helping right-wingers spread propaganda. If you're really your friend, you should talk to her about it. Why would you assume I haven't? I mean, if we're friends, it would stand to reason that I've talked with her, right? You have no idea what we talked about. You can't even begin to guess. Position disagreements, anything like that. Oh, well, maybe this is a better argument, or hey, maybe this person on Twitter had a point, this or that. You don't know, and I mean, obviously, because it's like interpersonal interactions. I'm not going to like fucking lay that out for everyone because that'd be kind of weird. But it's weird that that you would assume that isn't happening. We've been on this for an hour. Can we talk about anything else? I'm really, really, really hoping this dissuades people from acting like this in the future. But you know, you never know. She also doesn't seem to change much since the last drama, so that's probably why people assume you don't talk to her. No, I can't single-handedly control her behavior. That's just something that can never. There's never really a standard of behavior that I can meet there. Okay, last thing. We're looking at that subreddit post one more time. Genuinely asking where he's defended her. I've seen tons of segments where he's criticized her and her shit takes. He'll criticize her, but immediately turn around and get mad at chat for not liking her. This doesn't happen. I've said for a long time, if you want to dislike Shoe, I said this here too. If you want to dislike Shoe, you can. That's fine. You don't need my permission. I've never told you you don't need to. I've told you you can. You have plenty of reasons to dislike her. It's fine. And she gonna her just the way chat normally does, but he doesn't think he actually does it. He's talking about how he's used a polite, nice tone with actual Nazis. The point is very unwilling to withdraw public support. I don't know what the... So, when you guys say he's unwilling to withdraw public support from her, what you actually mean is, like, I am a 2013 Tumblr snowflake cancel culture warrior. This isn't a real thing. Public support. Can you find the last dated media where I have specifically recommended something that Shoe has done? Seriously. What you're really talking about is public association. Public association where I express constant criticism, no less. This is not a real thing. He gives the impression he wants to suck her dick really hard. See, is this not kind of weird? Like, again, I've been known to engage in a little bit of jovial misogyny and sexual humor on my own. Don't get me wrong, but I usually don't do so with, like, in ways that, like, directly imitate the behaviors of, like, actual incels. I usually try to do it in a way that comes across as inherently, like, self-satirical. But this is just incel shit. Come on.